Well, hello, welcome to Amy and Ellen. Thank you for being here with us with BizPeake. As we talked about, this is in our January-February issue. It's all about love and partnerships and planning for a new year. So I had the pleasure of meeting the two of you. I was actually shopping at your store, your pop-up shop, and just loved the synergy between the two of you. So I thought you'd be perfect for us to interview and learn a little bit more, not only about yourselves, also the business and your plans for the future, but about working together. Because some people can be in a partnership and excel at it, and others not so much. So maybe you can give us some tips or some lessons learned or whatever. But great. Well, first I want to start with Amy. Fresty, if you could tell us a little bit about you.
Let's see, I moved here from Wisconsin in 1996, so while I consider myself a true Wisconsinite, I lived in Maryland for a very long time. I lived in Baltimore for several years, but then moved to a neighborhood in Arnold, which is where Ellen and I met, and that was about 8 years ago when I was pregnant with my twins that are now 7.5, and we met, and it was an instant.
We actually met like soon after they were born.
Yes.
And it was instant.
It was instant.
Actually, her neighbor who I was already friends with said, "This girl moved in across the street. You guys are like soul sisters." So you came to me. She dresses like you. Good to meet her.
You go by Elle. Is that Elle?
Yeah.
Amy and Elle.
So I studied fashion merchandising at University of Maryland and moved out to California after working for a year in New York. So I was always in the garment industry. Got married out there, had a baby, and decided we wanted to move back east. Juggling 2 jobs. I work at home with my husband, so there's a lot of flexibility, but I still have obviously responsibilities, and that's our livelihood. So he was in TV, I was in fashion, and in order to move back, we bought a small business for my dad that we currently run together. So I also work full time. I mean, the pop-up shop is definitely filling in some for the livelihood. And
it's extremely difficult, to be honest, and plus also having 3 children, fairly young, it is the juggling and keeping all of the balls in the air is definitely probably the most difficult part.
I had a friend who had a pop-up shop in San Diego, and I had never heard of somebody small doing it on their own. I had heard of bigger corporations or high-end designers doing a pop-up in order to like test market or that kind of thing, and it just sounded so intriguing to me. And so I promptly went home to see my family in New Jersey, and all I could think about, I would wake up in the middle of the night and have a little notebook and would write all these notes about what we could do or what I could do with the pop-up shop, but I knew I couldn't do it by myself. And it definitely wasn't something I could do with my husband. Although our other business worked great together, this was something I needed a soul sister for.
Yes, our kids were at elementary school together, and we had brought back spirit wear, which is just, the clothes that the kids wear that shows their school spirit. Arnold Elementary had not had spirit wear in probably 10 years. And so we brought it back, and we did that together where we designed the t-shirts and the sweatshirts, and then we went to school.
We did a couple of seasons, and the main point is that we worked really well together because we were that's obviously a volunteer thing, and we were happy to do it for the school and raise a little money for them and have the kids walk around with fun t-shirts and have that.
But we really enjoyed working together,
really
and we both were looking to do something else other than what we were already doing. We were something that fed our soul a little bit more.
So basically, we feature almost all local artists, and that's our passion, and that's our motto. Or in the beginning, had a couple friends that were making jewelry and doing a few things, and we featured them and then people that they knew, and we kind of looked on Etsy and kind of try to seek people out. But now we have so many contacting us directly that we have a waiting list per se.
We thought about it, and we are creative people, but we don't have a artisan craft, specifically. So we kind of started to think we have a particular boho style, and we wanted to kind of show that and show our personalities through it.
Take care of that a little bit by doing our own collection. So while the blanks and whatever aren't made here, all the screen printing is done here with a local screen printer. The candle we created with a local candle company, so Annapolis Candle, who also owns candles off Main. They bought out that business. we had so much fun. We tested all these different scents, and then we put the two together that we liked the most, which they had never had before or smelled before, and created our first candle scent, but they pour it and everything, and it's called Good Karma, and it's red currant and bamboo, and it's delicious.
Oh,
And
that's
then
wonderful.
actually Annapolis Candle worked with Put It In Peanuts, who does a all organic body butter, and she bought their essential oils from them and made the body butter for us as well.
So awesome.
So we have a Good Karma body
body
butter.
But then also the other thing that we're doing is keeping with working with local artisans is we're doing things like this. So this is Carmen LaFleur. She's a local artist that we work with, and she hand stamps necklaces. But we asked her to do the here and now. We also asked her to do a Good Karma, and you know, things that so they're coming under. It's Carmen LaFleur for Here and Now, XO and Amy and L. So it's still working with the local artisans, but now it's also our own brand too.
We've always been a collaborative type of approach to everything we do, whether it's the artists we work with or the people we pop up nearby, the restaurants around us. Like we always want to have that, you know, inclusive.
Right. It's all about our community that we're doing business with. So our next big project, and we are very presently working on, is we are launching an e-commerce. So we're in the midst of it. We're super excited. We feel like it's the next step. We are gonna try to keep with the pop-up nature though, whereas we'll have a big pop-up and then we'll say we'll have the top 10 most selling things from that pop-up, and we'll put it online. So it won't be everything is available to you all the time. We'll always have the here and now items.
Ultimately, we just like to do this for the full tank.